Good afternoon. My name is James L. Hargrove. Today in this presentation, we will focus on a topic that is increasingly relevant in today's workplaces. Ethical responsibilities organizations carry using AI systems to monitor employees, along with legal obligations they face when monitoring data is involved with cybersecurity breaches. These two issues are connected in ways that matter to employees, IT professionals, and regulators alike. This presentation is informative research of AI. AI-driven workplace monitoring has expanded rapidly in recent years. Organizations use automated systems to track productivity, communication patterns, behavioral trends, and in some cases, biometric data. Many employees do not fully understand how much data is being collected or how it influences decisions regarding employment. When these systems experience cybersecurity breaches, the harm to employees are compounded when private data is exposed, often without consent. This is important to know about in the legal and ethical frameworks designed to protect employees are limited or just not there. My research question guiding this presentation is this: how should organizations ethically balance AI-driven workplace monitoring with their legal and professional responsibilities for cybersecurity breach disclosure? This research supports the position that organizations should adopt for transparency, fair, and human-centered monitoring practices, and when a breach occurs, disclosure to inform all employees, all stakeholders whose data was compromised. This is the argument with support in legal legal analysis, ethical examination, stakeholder review, and evidence from credible government frameworks and classwork research. Before examining legal and ethical concerns, it helps to understand four key concepts. First, AI-driven monitoring refers to systems that use machine learning to evaluate employee productivity, communications, and behavior. Second, algorithmic bias occurs when systems produce unfair outcomes because of flawed training data or model design. Third, the breach disclosure is the legal obligation to report cybersecurity incidents that expose sensitive data. Finally, data governance refers to organizational policies that control how data is collected, protected, and stored. These four concepts form the foundations for the analysis that follows. Several important legal frameworks apply to this topic. The SEC's 2023 Cybersecurity Disclosure Rule requires public companies to report material breaches promptly with clear explanation of what data was affected. The FTC has issued guidance warning that the AI systems producing discriminatory or misleading outcomes can lead to enforcement action. The ISO 27001 requires organizations to protect all sensitive data, including monitoring data, through formal security management controls. The NICE Cybersecurity Workforce Framework reinforces that IT professionals carry ethical accountability for data protection. One significant gap remains: no comprehensive federal law that governs AI in the workplace monitoring or with workplace monitoring. Ethical concerns are beyond legal compliance. Privacy is a core issue beyond employees do not know what data is collected or how it influences their evaluations, creating a power imbalance of monitoring. Algorithmic bias is equally serious. AI systems can produce unfair outcomes that disproportionately affect certain groups that flaw and the flaws are often visible to the people who are being evaluated. Transparency is an ethical obligation employees deserve to understand when AI is assessing them, and accountability cannot be outsourced to an algorithm. Human oversight must remain a focal insight of every automated workplace decision. Four major stakeholder groups are affected by this issue. Employees are the most directly impacted. Monitoring systems influence their evaluations, opportunities, and privacy. Employers are employers and organizational leadership carry the responsibility to ensure monitoring is transparent, fair, and secure. IT and cybersecurity professionals are responsible for configuring these systems, protecting the data they generate, and managing breach response under frameworks like the NIST and ISO 27001. And the regulators, including the FTC, the SEC, enforce the standards that hold organizations accountable for the fairness and timely disclosure. Each group carries a different obligation. Several consistent findings emerge from credible sources supporting this research. Government guidance from the NIST AI Risk Management Framework requires human oversight, bias testing, and transparent documentation for all AI systems. The SEC's 2023 rule makes clear that a timely breach disclosure is legal requirement, not a choice. The FTC guidance warns of enforcement consequences when AI systems discriminate. ISO 27001 and NICE reinforce that monitoring data must be protected under vigorous security controls. Under research also consistently shows that monitoring systems collect more data than employees typically realize, which increases vulnerability when a breach occurs. AI-driven workplace monitoring and cybersecurity breach disclosures are not separate problems. They are deeply connected and ethical responsibilities. Organizations that collect more employee data must accept greater accountability for protecting it and disclosing it when it is compromised. Ethical IT practice means slowing down rapid technology adoption long enough to ensure systems are fair, transparent, and appropriately regulated. The most important lesson from this research is straightforward. AI should work with people, not replace them. Responsibility, decision making, and information technology is not an option. It is what the profession requires of all of us. Based on this analysis, I recommend 5 practical steps. First, adopt minimal data to collect what is operationally necessary. Excessive surveillance creates more risk. Second, ensure transparency and be consistent about communicating to the employees of what is monitored and how AI evaluations work. Third, conduct regular bias audits using the NIST AI RFM guidelines to identify and correct unfair outcomes. Four, maintain human oversight so that AI supports rather than replaces professional judgment. And finally, following the SEC disclosure requirements, report breaches promptly, clearly, and with respect for those affected. AI-driven workplace monitoring and cybersecurity breaches disclosures are not separate problems. They are deeply connected with ethical responsibilities. Organizations that collect more employee data must accept greater accountability for protecting it and disclosing it when it is compromised. Ethical IT practices means slowing down rapid technology adoption long enough to ensure systems are fair, transparent, and appropriately regulated. The most important lesson from this research is straightforward. AI should not work. AI should work with people, not replace them. Responsible decision making in information technology is not an option. It is what the profession requires of all of us. The following sources supported this research. Sources include FTC guidance on AI fairness, NTIS AI risk management framework, SEC 2023 cybersecurity disclosure rule, the ISO/ICE 27001 2020 NICE cybersecurity workforce framework, and course lectures by Dr. Munoz, covering breach, disclosure, responsibility, automation, algorithmic bias. These credible government level and professional sources inform the legal and ethical analysis throughout this project. The full reference list is displayed on the slide for your review. Thank you and for your time and attention. My name is James Hargrove. Have a good day.